At the beginning of this year, I set out with a very ambitious goal. I wanted to move into my forever home in a new country in a home that me and my husband bought. I even made an entire video where I was using that as an example. Guess what? I failed in my resolution. And the thing is, I'm so glad I did. Today I want to share with you why my resolution didn't work out. I thought I'd give you an update since it was a very public goal that I set for myself. Why I'm not upset about it, and why you also shouldn't feel discouraged if you ever don't meet your New Year's resolutions or any sort of goal that you've set for yourself. I know that a lot of people really detest New Year's resolutions for this very reason, because they fear failure, because at the end of the year, if it didn't work out, they feel bad about themselves. And the thing is, this attitude just really doesn't make sense to me. It's okay to fail at things. I fail at many of my resolutions because I give myself a ton of them. But I still love the turn of the year when it's time to look back on my past resolutions and set intentions for the next year. I hope to explain why and how in this video so that maybe you can do the same. Okay, so let's talk about why I failed my New Year's resolution. For context, every year I give myself a ton of resolutions. I go hard, I break it down on category. I have like career, financial, health and wellness, leisure. I have a ton of different categories and a ton of different resolutions under each category, which is not really the recommended way to do it, but I love doing it that way. And this resolution was by far the biggest one. I wanted to move into my forever home. The thing is, my husband and I, we've been moving for so long, and I've been moving my whole life. I've never had like a secure home base. We knew that with this last international move, we would want to really build a home there, build a community, settle down, keep things stable for our child. And also just like moving is logistically super stressful for like a few months every time you move. It's a lot of like manual physical labor. It's expensive. I was just tired of moving. I just wanted to settle down and like build a comfortable, cozy home life for us. And initially we were planning on moving to a different country than the one we actually moved to, because when we looked into the logistics of actually moving to the country we originally wanted, we quickly realized it was not a good fit. It did not fit with our values and our goals in life. So we pivoted. We chose a different country that is actually an amazing fit for us. We're obsessed with where we live. But in this new place where we live, we can't afford to buy a property for a very, very, very long time. And honestly, we couldn't afford to really buy a property in the other country either. Paying for a down payment would have completely wiped like our entire savings, which like when you have two self-employed people, it is really not smart to not have at least a year's worth of savings. So again, we pivoted. We said, okay, let's just rent a place for 3 years or so, and then maybe we'll reassess if we have enough money for a down payment then. So we find an apartment. Actually, we find a few different apartments that we really loved, but we selected the one that we loved the most. We move in, we start getting the place set up, and pretty immediately we realize, wait a minute, this is kind of a forever home. Like, yeah, it's not ours, like it's not our property, we haven't bought it, but we want to be here like a lot more than 3 years like we originally thought. We're thinking like at least 10 years, maybe longer. So in the end, I am so glad that things didn't work out the way that I wanted them to, because the country we ended up moving to is so much better of a fit for us. Our rental apartment truly feels like a long-term, somewhat permanent home. Like one of our downstairs neighbors, she's been living in this building since the 70s when it was built. So it's like, you don't need to necessarily buy a property to set up camp there. If we were ever to move again, it would have to be like an incredible place because we love our current apartment so much. So this was really a reminder for me to, first of all, set more realistic goals for myself, because I have a tendency to aim really high and then not always be able to meet those goals, but also to stay really flexible when life doesn't work out the way that you originally planned. Sometimes we don't get what we originally wanted, and it's only because the long-term plan that the universe actually has in store for us is so much better. You should never beat yourself up over not getting what you wanted. It's not the outcome that differentiates a winner from a loser. It's the attitude. This is something that I go into a lot more depth in the Goal Getter course, but it is normal to fail. We all fail. And some of the most successful people have failed 100 times over. But what did they do when they failed? They failed upwards. They learned from their experiences. They put those lessons into practice. They kept a resilient attitude. They weren't ashamed that they fell down. They just got right back up. So if you ever fail at a New Year's resolution or something that you wanted for yourself, how can you get over this fear of failure? First of all, take responsibility. It's not just external circumstances that didn't work out. Also look at what you did or didn't do that contributed to the situation. This is called having an internal locus of control. It means you're not blaming other people or external circumstances for the outcomes in your life. You're taking responsibility, and therefore you can actually move forward in the future. So in this example, there are of course external circumstances that made my resolution not achievable, not having the funds for it, the country we originally wanted to move for not being a good fit for various reasons, unaffordable housing where we ended up moving. But what about the things that I did or didn't do? I saved as much money as I could. Ultimately, it wasn't enough for a down payment. I chose to move to an area that has more unaffordable housing than I could have. Maybe I could have found a really cheap property to buy on some small island in the Mediterranean, but that's not what I wanted. That's not what I chose to do. I think people sometimes have this impression that taking responsibility is like something harsh, where you have to beat yourself over the head. Not the case at all. Taking responsibility can and should be done with self-compassion. It's not about being harsh on yourself. Number 2, assess what went wrong and plan how to move forward accordingly. So in some situations, you might problem solve how to overcome the obstacles that came up. Let's say I still wanted to move into a forever home that's like my own property next year. Then I'd say, okay, what were the obstacles that impeded me this year and how do I overcome them so that next year I can get that property? Or in some situations, like in this one, you might find that modifying your goal is a better option. That was the case for me. I decided, no, I actually don't want to rush to buy a property anymore. Maybe I never will buy a property, and that is a-okay. I'll just invest the difference. Ask yourself, what did you learn from this experience? Asking yourself this question turns even small everyday L's into growth opportunities, making you absolutely bulletproof in the future. Let me give you an example. So recently, my husband was out of town and I had to give our baby a bath on my own for the very first time. And it was a disaster. My husband had left the water in the bathtub the night before, and so it got the seat of the bathtub really cold. And I was trying to hold the baby while turning on the cold faucet and the hot faucet to have exactly the right temperature go into the bathtub. And then I put the baby in the bathtub, but the back seat was still cold, and so the baby was screaming. From this experience, I learned, firstly, never again. And am I going to try to give our baby a bath when I'm alone? Also, never again put the baby in before you actually fill the tub with warm water. My husband on his end learned to never again procrastinate pouring out the water from the bathtub. An experience that was so utterly horrific for me got turned into a learning experience. You can even do this with small everyday moments like the one I'm describing. It doesn't even have to be these large resolutions. And number 3, look at the silver lining. You were not a failure because something you wanted didn't work out. Like I said, what makes someone a failure is whether or not they learn from their mistakes and whether they get back up to go for what they want again. For me, this experience made me redefine what a forever home is, what financial stability means. It no longer means getting rid of all our savings for a down payment or living paycheck to paycheck for a mortgage. Stability and having a secure home base to me now means renting something affordable that we love, doing it long term, still having our savings. So please, if you hate New Year's resolutions because you're afraid of failing at them, don't. They are super fun and worthwhile even when you fail. I think it's fun, even if I fail at the end of the year, to look back at what happened, what went wrong, and plan for the next year. It's exciting to me. And I think a lot of the resolution suck attitude that I see online is this fear of failure and this notion, this misunderstanding that self-improvement is harsh. Self-improvement lacks self-compassion. Self-improvement somehow is trying to always tweak yourself and never accepting yourself. Absolutely not. Self-improvement should be concurrent with self-acceptance. You should both accept yourself and your circumstances the way they are currently while working towards improving your situation in whatever way you want. So I think people who hate resolutions, first of all, fear failure, and also just have a misunderstanding of what healthy goal setting and implementing looks like. So, I don't know about you, but the first half of 2025 was not super easy for me. A lot happened. And if you're in the same boat and you're just looking for, a way to invest in yourself, maybe your relationships, maybe your 2026 resolutions, I have something exciting to share. I'm currently doing a massive course sale for Black Friday and Cyber Monday on both of my courses, the Connection course and the Goal Getter course, as well as the bundle where you get both of them. So all of these are 25% off. Just use the promo code TurkeyDay at checkout and you'll get the discount. As a reminder, if you don't remember what the courses are about, the Connection course is for anyone who feels kind of fed up with their relationships. If you're tired of not having people to connect with on a deeper level, or tired of having relationships that don't serve you, or you don't understand the skills required to maintain great relationships, this program is over 4 hours long and it goes into all of that really in depth using evidence-based techniques from some of the biggest titans in the field of psychology. And the Goal Getter course is all about how to get everything you want. So this is a great one to do this time of year when we're setting new intentions for the next year. I often get questions asking, how do I stay productive? How do I stay motivated? Well, this program compiles every single piece of advice I could possibly give you into just over 2 hours. These are all the techniques that have helped me basically get everything I want over the years. This YouTube channel, my novels, moving internationally, staying motivated with my health, all of that. Students typically say that this program really helped them kickstart whatever it was they were hoping to accomplish, that it was both concrete with personal examples from my life and applicable to their lives. Now, if both of these courses sound like something you'd benefit from, the bundle that combines them is also 25% off. So currently, if you get the bundle with the sale going on, you'd be paying less than if you just paid the full cost of the Connection course. Just remember to use the coupon TurkeyDay at checkout. Links are all down below. I hope you all have an amazing Thanksgiving week if you celebrate, and also if you don't celebrate. Best of luck with your goals moving forward, and let's kick ass on those New Year's resolutions.
Tell me.